Shalom Aleichem Buchers. A few thoughts for Lag BaOmer this year. Lag BaOmer is Be'er Hashem Motzi Shabbos. In Israel, some people will be lighting the Midurot on Sunday night. The Rabbanut Rashid suggested doing Sunday instead of Motzi Shabbos to avoid Chas V'Shalom Chilul Shabbos. Lag BaOmer, you know, Lag BaOmer is the outside of Rashbi, Rashim Bar Yochai. And we think it's time to be sad. One of the greatest Tanaim died. Why are we happy? The Zohar records that on the day that he died, so he revealed great secrets of Torah to the world. So we're happy. So we're Sameach and we're happy Lag BaOmer. Why do we light bonfires? The Zohar also records that the day that he died, so there was a fire surrounded his house. And nobody can come close except for his closest Talmidim. And maybe the bonfire that we light on Lag BaOmer, do they do that in America? Oh, another reason to be here. So, could be one of the reasons we light Midurot, bonfires, Lag BaOmer, to commemorate that fire. Okay. There's an important lesson, though, to learn from Shir Bar Yochai. I'm going to condense, by the way, an hour into 5 minutes, so any questions, give me a call. The Gemara famously records, Gemara Shabbos, Daf Lamed Gimel Lamed Beis. Now tell me Lamed Gimel Lamed Beis. Lamed Gimel Lamed Beis is not a coincidence, I thought of that. Oh. But the Gemara records a famous story of Shir Bar Yochai. He was a famously did not like the Romans, and he had to flee for his life after he criticized them, hiding first in the shul in the Beis Medrash, and eventually having to flee to the cave for 12 years, where he was there with his son, studying Torah all day long, buried themselves into sand, kayadua. By the way, as an aside, the cave that he hid in, according to the Medrash in Kohelet, was in Peki'in. Peki'in, it's a yeshuv in the Galil. And to this day, you can actually go to Peki'in, and there's a cave, which is known as the Ma'ara, the cave of Rashbi, the cave of Shir Bar Yochai. And outside the cave, to this day, grows a very ancient carob tree. Now, isn't that coincidence? The Gemara says that during these 12 years, a carob tree miraculously grew out, and there's a spring. So he was able to feed himself from the carobs and drink from the water while he was in the cave. So you can go to Peki'in today and see that very cave where he hid and wrote the Zohar, according to many people. And people say, by the way, he's buried in Meron, and everybody goes to Meron every year. Hundreds of thousands of Jews go to Meron. Pekin is left out. What was Pekin rewarded by? Did you guys know that Pekin is the only one yeshuv in the entire land of Israel that has settled, the Jews have settled and lived there straight for 2,000 years without a break. It's the only settled yeshuv in the entire land of Israel. Jews have lived there constantly without a break for 2,000 years until this day. Rav Shir Bar Yochai was a great lover of Eretz Yisrael another time, and Pekin gained, and that was its reward for hiding Rav Shir Bar Yochai. But back to the story of Masechet Shabbat. Eventually everybody knows Rav Shir Bar Yochai came out of the cave, and who was told that Caesar died, comes out of the cave, can't handle the fact that people are plowing, sowing, working the ground, and everything he looks at turns into fire. Because Baruch Hu says, that's not what he came out for. Back to the cave for another 12 months, and he comes out a year later, and this time he's actually fixing things. And there's a message here, and the message is this. Some Jews, we count Orayta Omer from Pesach to Shavuos. Pesach symbolizes the Yetziat mi'avdut l'chirut. We go from slavery to freedom. We become a nation, independent. But that's not all, because we count toward Shavuos. What makes it special? The Torah. So in Shavuos we get the Torah, and that's what defines spirituality. Some people are stuck at Pesach. Some people identify themselves as Jews, as Israelis, whatever it is. But they don't count and they don't get to Shavuos. They don't get the Torah. They're stuck at identifying as part of the nation. But you know what? There's some Jews who get so hung up about the Torah, and they so accept the Torah in Shavuos, they have no patience for anybody who's not like them. On Pesach, we begin counting the Omer from the time of being the barley. Korban HaOmer is brought from celery, from barley. And on Shavuos, we're being Korban Shtei HaLechem, out of Chita, wheat. Wheat is the best type of flour. Whole wheat, of course. According to David, at least. We count from barley to wheat. We count from Pesach to Shavuos. Barley isn't there yet. It might mature before the wheat, but you don't want to stay at barley. You want to get to the wheat. Pesach comes before Shavuos. You don't want to just stay at, I've left Egypt, I'm a nation. You want to get the Torah. Rav Shir Bar Yochai is such a giant in Torah. He couldn't relate at first to people who were not like him. The Gemara in Brachos Daf Lamed Hey, I'm not going to go there right now, I mentioned it before, look it up over there. Brachos Lamed Hey has a famous discussion where Shmuel says a person should be engaged in commerce and parnosa and learn Torah as well. And Shmuel says no, only study Torah only long because Baruch will look after you. He wasn't connected to this world, he was a different realm altogether. When he came out of the cave, he couldn't understand people and not studying Torah all day long. It's difficult for him to understand and listen. He had to realize, no, it's okay. People can be engaged in this world, and you can appreciate them. He had to figure that out. And that's really what Lag BaOmer is about, to a certain extent. What we can learn from Shir Yochai is that there are some people who are in Pesach, and some people in Shavuos. We have to count from Pesach to Shavuos. We have to strive to the Torah. We have to strive for Sfirat Omer, always to get to Shavuos. We have to appreciate that it begins with the barley, it begins with Pesach. Everybody's included in Yiddishkeit. We don't exclude anybody. And even if a person's at barley, even if a person's at Pesach, he's a good Jew. He's got a zgula, he's got a nitzotz of Gedusha. And everybody's inclusive. And that's what Shir Yochai had to learn. Maybe that's what Lag BaOmer is about. Halfway through to realize that on Sfiras HaOmer, when we're counting towards the Torah, yes, we include everybody. We ourselves should strive to be as much as possible to get to the wheat, to strive as much as possible to accept the Torah. But it doesn't mean Chas Hashem to exclude anybody. Right? And that, I think, is a message of Lag BaOmer, of Rav Shir Yochai. To accept the Torah, to be committed to the Torah, but at the same time, and striving towards it all the time, but at the same time, having respect and be inclusive of all those who are not yet there. And I think that's a very important message. And I wish you guys all Lag BaOmer Sameach. You should be Ola min Madrega la Madrega now and in the future as well. Shabbat Shalom.